अरहंत सिद्ध सुर उपाध्याय साधु सर्व अर्थ के प्रकाशी मांगलिक उपकारी है। तिनको स्वरूप जानी रागते भई जो भक्ति काय को नमाए स्तुति को उच्चारी है। धन्य धन्य तुम्ही से काज सब अज भयो कर जोरी बारंबार वंदना हमारी है। मंगल कल्याण सुख ऐसो हम चाहते हो मेरी ऐसी दशा जैसी तुम धारी है। ओ मेरी ऐसी दशा जैसी तुम धारी है। So we were discussing both Pahud. Among the 8 Pahud, we were discussing both Pahud. And this is the 4th number. And in that, we saw that monks have been described at 11 places, out of which 7 explanation we have already done. And today we are going to start with the 8th, 8th definition of the monk. So from 8, 9, 10, 11, all these will be related to Arhant Paramatma, omniscient God. Okay. So up to 7, it was monk. Now from 8 to 11, it will be related to omniscient being. But again, omniscient being is also a monk. Okay. So overall, it is only monk, where this 11 different posts have been related to the same monk. Okay. We are on to page number 7. Yeah, before this. One page before this. Yes, this one. One more page before. We are into 11 number, 9, 8. Yeah, bus. So we are going to start from 8. Further up. Yes, they were 12. Okay. So from here, we are going to start today. The one whose delusion is destroyed is a deity. Deity means Dev, God. So among the gods, we have omniscient being as Arhant and the liberated soul, Siddh Bhagwan. Okay. So here we are discussing the one whose delusion is destroyed is a deity. Religion, dharma is purified through compassion and asceticism, through renunciation from all kinds of possessions. Okay. So usually monks are devoid of possessions. So there are 24 types of possessions in total, out of which 14 are related to the 14 are related as internal possessions. Among them, delusion is the first one, and then we have 13 kinds of passions. So 13 plus 1, 14 internal possessions, and 10 external possessions like wealth, utensils, clothes, uh, food, agriculture produce, then servants, etc., etc. 10 are there. So the monk are always devoid of these 12 kinds of possessions. Okay. Here we are relating it to the Arhanta Dev, the one who has conquered his delusion, the one who has conquered the 4 obscuring karmas and have manifested 4 infinite qualities like infinite knowledge, infinite perception, infinite bliss, and infinite energy. Okay. So this is the stage of a Arahant. So this was number 8. Number 9, Tirth. So what is a Tirth? That which varies across the cycle of existence. What is this cycle of existence? This transmigration. Okay. Finishing life in one realms of life, moving on to another realms of life, and in this way transmigrating from one state of existence to another state of existence. So a tirth, that which ferries across this cycle of existence, this cycle of transmigration, is called tirth. A pure soul detached from the five senses through right belief and great vows, devoid of desires for worldly or otherworldly, for this world or otherworldly pleasures, is the true tirth. Okay. So who is the true tirth? That monk who is now an Arhat Paramatma is the true tirth. Tirth in Hindi, it means that place or person which ferries across, which helps you to come out of this transmigration, is called tirth. Okay. So the places from where uh, the souls have been liberated are also called tirth kshetra. The places where tirthankars are born are also called tirth kshetra. The places where tirthankar Samosaran had gone are also called tirth kshetra. Then the places where the any of the 5 Kalyanaks of Tirthankar are held are also called Tirth. Okay. So these are all Tirth. Now the next Arham, Arhanta. In a general sense, all omniscient beings are considered Arhant. So those who have manifested complete knowledge, omniscient knowledge, are considered as Arhant. However, here the focus is on the Tirthankar, the supreme Arhant. The spiritual leader describes the term Arhant through 4 nikshepo. What are these 4 nikshepo? Name, sthapna, that is establishment. Then third is dravya, that is substance. And fourth, which is bhav, thought or state. The Acharya, spiritual leader, explains that those who are free from the karmic bonds and defects caused by the rise of destructive karma, ghati karma, and non-destructive karma, aghati karma, and who are endowed with infinite perception, infinite knowledge, and other unparalleled qualities are the true arahants. So we were just now discussing about the infinite knowledge, infinite perception, infinite bliss, and infinite energy. So those who have manifested these 4 qualities are the Arahant. They are in the 13th stage of spiritual development and soon they will get liberated. Sthapna of Arahant by 5 ways. Okay. Sthapna means establishment. First one is Gunasthan stage, stages of spiritual development. You have to write here, correct. Stages of spiritual development. Okay, it is already done. Good. Then we have Marganas. A Marganasthan is stages of the path. A good word would be mm, places where souls are found. Okay, places where souls are found is called Marganasthan. Okay, so there are 14 Marganasthans and there are 14 Gunasthan, 14 stages of spiritual development and 14 places where souls are found. One thing is very different in between the two is that always one Gunasthan will be there at a time. So if you are in the first, you are not in the fourth. If you are in the fourth, you are not in the fifth. So at any point of time, soul will be in one of the 14 stages of spiritual development. But that is not the case with Marganasthan. In case of Marganasthan, all the 14 exist simultaneously. How? That we are going to read when we discuss the 14 different types of Marganas. It's mentioned over here. So anyway, we will be touching on that. So let's keep it pending for some time. The third is Paryapti. Paryapti is attainment of life forces. So there are 6 kinds of life forces and it develops one by one. Okay. Last one is the mind. So when the mind is also developed, then it is called a fully developed. Okay. It's called Paryapti, attainment of life forces. Then we have Prana, life, and Jeevsthan, the state of soul, is the Sthapna Arhant by real point of view. So this is how we established a Arhanta. So the Arhant is in which stage of spiritual development? 13th. And it's having all the 14 types of Marganasthan. Then Paryapti is also completed. Then Pran, it has got 10 types of Pran. In the last class, we'll discussed 5 senses, then 3 mind, speech, and body, 8, then age, and then the last one was swasoswas, breathing. Okay, so these are the 10 life organisms. Okay, Pran. The state of soul. Jeevsthan is the state of soul. So there are again 14 states of soul that we might discuss in this or the next one. And Jeevsthan is the Sthapna Arhant by real point of view. Verse 32 to 36. The Acharya describes the characteristics of Arhant in relation to these 5 stages. The Dravya of Arhant, the Dravya means substance of Arhant, the Acharya says that it is free from the afflictions of old age, diseases, and all forms of physical afflictions, such as hunger, thirst, excrement, phlegm, sweat, bad odor, nausea, and other form of impurities. So it is an idealized body. Idealized body means param audarik sarir, free from all mundane afflictions. Okay. So it's an idealized body, free from all mundane afflictions, and is endowed with 1008 auspicious and superlative qualities, making it a fragrant and pure form. Okay. So the Arhant is having an idealized body. Idealized body means all the small microorganisms present in the body are all eliminated. Now the body is also pure. It is called Param Audarik Sarir. Okay. So the one who is going to get liberated, one who is an Tirthankar, they get this kind of body. It's an idealized body free from all mundane afflictions and is endowed with 1008 auspicious and superlative qualities, making it a fragrant and pure form. The Bhav Arahant is entirely free from mental fluctuations. Next page, we are into next page. The Bhav Arahant is entirely free from mental fluctuation such as pride, attachments, aversion, and passions. They exist in an extremely pure state, embodying the form of omniscient knowledge. So the Bhavaryan, who is at the 13th stage of spiritual development, he is in extremely pure state, embodying the form of omniscience knowledge. Okay, so that was end of point number 10. And the 11th one is Pravarjya. Now, what is Pravarjya means? Pravarjya refers to initiation into ascetic life, to become a monk. Okay, this is called Pravarjya. Pravarjya means Diksha. Okay, so refers to initiation into ascetics of life. In Pravarjya, there is an absence of internal and external attachments, passions, and the influence of attachment, aversion, delusion, and sinful tendencies. There is equanimity in dealing with friend and foe, criticism and praise, gain and loss, and between straw and gold. So this kind of entity, they does not discriminate between a friend and a foe, criticism and praise. For him, everything is just an object of knowledge. There is nothing called good or there is nothing called bad. Okay. It's just that it's an object of my knowledge appearing at its own time, and I am the knower. Okay. So there is no problem at any point of time. We are by nature knower of things, and it is reflecting in our knowledge. But that is the relationship that we have with all the objects of this universe, whether living or non-living. They are nothing but just an object of my knowledge, nothing else. Okay. So this was Pravarjya. They are entirely devoid of possessions and are in the state of Nirgrantha, possessionless being. Okay. Slightly, I think you have gone bit.
No, I think
Yeah,
I think I'm on the right page. It's here.
yeah, right. Are in the state of a Nigranth, possessionless. So they are also a monk, where there is not even the slightest accumulation of possessions. Okay. So this one is about a monk who has initiated into monkhood, and this also relates to that. Now, the conclusion. The Acharya describes the nature of external initiation and says that one who has taken the vow of renunciation while enduring hardship and external disturbances with steadfastness, with firmness, okay, lives in isolated place such as desolate regions, forest, beneath rocks, in wooden shelters, or in the ground. Okay. Alternatively, they may live in empty houses, under trees, in caves, gardens, forest, cremation grounds, mountain caves, mountain peaks, and dangerous forests, or uninhabited places that is neither hot nor cold. Okay. So these are the places where a monk takes temporary shelter over there, maybe 1 day, 2 day, and then he moves on. Okay. So these are the places where they stay. They never stay in a place which is meant for them. Okay. So this is the characteristics of a true monk. They do not associate with animals, women, eunuchs, or adulterous men. Instead, they engage in self-study and meditation. All the time they are doing self-study, 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 intentionally. And unintentionally, there are many things running simultaneously, which is beyond our control, which is not in our hand. So instead of getting upset with those things, we should learn to take it in our stride and move on. It's only an object of knowledge for me. There is no other relation with that particular object. Okay. These renunciant monks are possession free, detached, egoless, free from attachment, faultless, selfless, devoid of arrogance, fearless, and free from desires. Okay. So many qualities being mentioned here. So about the monk, the renunciant monks are possession free, detached. Detached means vitrakta, passionless. Then egoless. They don't have any ego. That why I should bow to him, why should I ask him how he's feeling, how is his health. No, then they are never egoistic. Detached, egoless, free from attachment. Okay, so it's not only attachment, but attachment, aversions, delusions, all coming together. Free from attachment, faultless. There are no blemishes. In total, there are 18 kinds of blemishes, but this type of monk, they don't have any kind of faults. Free from attachment, faultless, selfless.
Ji, excuse me, Ji. In the
Yeah.
same page, fourth paragraph, they are given like this. Pravrajya is for beings with 6 types of bodily firmness. What does it mean, Ji?
So that is paryapti.
Okay. That is, everything is completely built.
Yes. So
Okay.
first one is the food, then it goes on like that. It's given,
Okay.
the 6 names must be given there. It's given there in the footnote.
Not Ji. It's not given there.
Not given. Okay. Okay. It's not given. So where we were? In this manner, okay. In this manner, after describing the pure and possessionless Nigranth form of right belief, as mentioned in the Jain path, the Acharya then says that knowing the liberated path as described by the Lord Jinnadev passed through the lineage of profound Guru Bhadrabahu. Okay. So it is what it was during the time of Bhadrabahu Maharaj Sahib that the split between Jainism happened. Earlier it was only one religion, Digambar, Sanatan Digambar Dharma. And when Bhadrabahu came and there was going to happen a famine, so he realized this and he told them, his fellow monks, that there will be a, what you called, अकाल को क्या कहते हैं? Just now I said also. Famine. Okay. So that famine will come. So they shifted to south, because in south there will not be any famine. So North India, there will be a famine that was predicted by the monk who was knowing Avdi Gyan, Mana Parya Gyan and all. Okay. So what happened? Bhadrabhahu Swami along with many other monks moved towards south, because they go by walking, they don't go by train or flight, right? So they started moving towards south, and within 2-3 months they made it to the south kingdoms. And then there was a famine here. People were struggling to get food, monks were struggling to get food. So gradually this is how the Swetambar Parampara started. There is a comic on this also, and there are stories in Pratman Yoga also about this, about Bhadrabhahu Swami. Okay, I think he was the last Srut Kevli. After that, there were no Srut Kevli. Okay. Guru Bhadrabhahu, who was a knower of the 12 Ang and 14 Purva. Okay. 12 Ang and 14 Purva. I have spoken it for the welfare of those 6 Kai, 6 sensed beings. 6 Kai means 1 to 5 is 1 sensed, sorry, 1 sense, 2 sense, 3 sense, 4 sense, 5 sensed without mind, and 5 sense with mind. So that becomes 6. Okay. 5 sthavar and 1 tras. So tras is 2 sense to 5 sensed, and including mind also. Okay. So it is the 6 5s. So for the welfare of the whole types of souls in this universe, Acharya Bhadrabahu gave these sermons for the welfare of those people. And that is how we end with Bodh Pahud. Okay. Now we will be starting Bhav Pahud. So, Darshiji, you read.
Jai Jinendra.
Yes.
Bhav Pahud, Dispositions Treatise. In this Pahud, consisting of 165 verses, special emphasis has been placed on the purity of dispositions, Bhav Suddhi, as they are the root cause of virtues and vices. The renunciation of external possessions is undertaken solely to purify one's inner disposition. However, without the abandonment of internal possessions of attachments and aversions and similar tendencies, external renunciation is futile. Without internal purity, even if one were to perform external austerities for millions of years, liberation cannot be attained. Therefore, a seeker on the path of liberation must first and foremost recognize and understand their inner disposition. O soul, you have assumed the form of one without possessions, Nirgranth, countless times, yet without the disposition of inner purity and the contemplation of the nature of the pure soul, you have endured infinite suffering while wandering through the 4 realms of existence. In the realm of hell, you have suffered from extreme cold, heat, and inadequate shelter. In the animal realm, you have experienced pain from digging, burning, pain, dismemberment, and 15 both Paut verses. Sorry, do I have to read that? Sorry, and confinement. In the human realm, you have faced sudden disasters such as lightning strikes, mental anguish, and physical suffering. And in the celestial realm, you have endured separation, feeling of inferiority, and other forms of misery. O soul, what more can be said? Without the contemplation of your true self, you have been confined in the most impure place, the womb of a mother, curled up and helpless. To this day, you have consumed milk from countless mothers that, if collected, it would fill an entire ocean. The tears shed by the mothers who grieved over your birth and death would alone suffice to fill an ocean. Similarly, you have taken so many births in this infinite ocean of worldly existence that if all your hair, nails, umbilical cords, and bones from those lives were gathered, the resulting heap would surpass even Mount Sumeru. O soul, without realizing your true self, you have dwelt in all three realms, in water, land, fire, air, mountains, rivers, trees, forests, and all such places, enduring endless suffering. You have repeatedly consumed all forms of matter, yet you are never satisfied. Similarly, tormented by insatiable thirst, you have drunk all the water in the three worlds, yet your thirst remained unquenched. Therefore, reflect on all these truths and contemplate the three jewels, Ratnatraya, that bring an end to this cycle of existence. O steadfast one, you have been born countless times in the infinite ocean of existence, taking and abandoning innumerable bodies. Among these, in the human state, you have endured immense suffering by meeting untimely deaths, such as through consumption of poison, and in the animal state, you have experienced death through events such as avalanches. In Nigod, you have experienced birth and death 66,336 times within a single Antarmurat.
Stop.
Also,
Stop. So this is Bhav Paud. The emphasis is on the dispositions of the soul. Okay. As the name suggests. So all the 8 Pahud are highlighting their title only in the descriptions. So in this Pahud consisting of 165 verses. Okay. Special emphasis has been placed on the purity of dispositions, that is Bhav Shuddhi, okay, as they are the root cause of virtues and vices, okay. Virtues are the attributes and vices are the blemishes that we have. The renunciation of external possessions is undertaken solely to purify one's inner disposition. So whatever activities that a monks perform, there is a direct relationship with that, with the disposition. So the outer activities are complementing the inner dispositions. There exists a instrumental cause and effect relationship between the external activities and the internal dispositions. Okay. However, without the abandonment of internal possessions of attachment and aversions and similar tendencies, external renunciation is futile. Okay. So first of all, we should get rid of delusion. That is the number 1 internal possession. Then we have 13 passions. So these are the 14 internal possessions. And then of course the 10 external possessions. Okay. So without getting the right belief, all the external renunciation is futile. No use, no fruits coming from that. Okay. Without internal purity, even one were to perform external austerities for millions of years, liberation cannot be attained. Therefore, a seeker on the path of liberation must first and foremost recognize and understand their inner disposition. What kind of sentiments we are going through all the time. We only know about it, right? So the emphasis should be on the inner disposition. The emphasis should be on the inner purity. Okay. So that is what is emphasized here in Bhav Pahud. O soul, you have assumed the form of one without possessions, Nigranth, countless times. So we have been monk countless times, countless, not 1, 2, countless times. Because soul is there since time immemorial, there is no beginning, and in this cycle of transmigration, we have become many a times human, many a times monk, many a times Digambar monk, all these we have gone through. Infinite, yet without the disposition of inner purity. So that is called Bhavlingi Muniraj. Okay. When you have inner purity, it is called Bhavlingi Muniraj. And if you don't have the inner purity, then it is called Dravyalingi Muniraj. Okay. So Dravyaling with Bhavling is good, but Dravyaling only without Bhavling is of no use. And the contemplation of the nature of the pure soul, you have endured infinite suffering while wandering through the four realms of existence. Now, with each state of existence, what he has gone through, that is being explained. We also read this in Mokshmar Prakasak, we also read this in Chedala, and now here also it is coming in Astpaud, but very small description, just to make you aware that we have suffered so much in all the state of existence since time immemorial. So now we must do something where we can stop this transmigration and get liberated. This is an opportunity that we have got, and we can fully exercise it if we study properly and understand the true meanings of the Jinvani. It will lead us to getting into the path of liberation and ultimately liberation. So in the animal realm, you have experienced pain from digging, burning, pain, dismemberment, and confinement, etc. So etc. is missing. So there are other kinds of sufferings that is not mentioned here, but with etc. you can make out that there are all other kinds of sufferings are also there. In the human realm, you have faced sudden disasters such as lightning strikes, mental anguish, physical suffering, yeah, etc. Again, etc. you have to put in, it's not there. And in the celestial realm, so they have discussed all the four states of existence. And in the celestial realm, you have endured separation, feeling of inferiority, and other forms of misery. Okay. So these are the sufferings that we have undergone in the fourth state of existence. O soul, what more can be said? Without the contemplation of your true self. So here it won't be contemplation, but it would be realization. Because in the next paragraph, similar kind of word is used in Hindi, and they have made like, oh soul, without realizing your true self. Okay. So here contemplation also means realization. Realization, you can write it down. Okay, this is the correction. Without the realization of your true self, you have been confined in the most impure place, the womb of a mother, curled up and helpless. Just see the kind of nature of things. A soul coming in the womb of a mother and living there for 9 months and surviving, getting food from what mother is eating, and all kinds of suffering, but he cannot express. Okay. Daulat Ramji explained these sufferings in Chedala, that while you are in womb, there are a lot of sufferings, which cannot be described, but there are sufferings. Supposing if mother eats some hot water, so that also will affect the kid, and if he eats very cold water also, then also he will feel affected. So all these he has endured, and not once, twice, but innumerable times. Okay. To this day, you have consumed milk from countless mothers that if collected, it would fill an entire ocean. So Acharya Dev are just making us realize that we have been there since time immemorial, and we have done all these things multiple times, not only once, twice, but innumerable times. Okay. The tears shed by the mothers who grieved over your birth and death would alone suffice to fill an ocean. Okay. Similarly, you have taken so many births in this infinite ocean of worldly existence that if all your hair, nails, umbilical cords, bones from those lives were gathered, the resulting heap would surpass even Mount Sumeru. So Mount Sumeru is a very giant mountain of 80 yojan, very big figure. So that heap would even surpass even Mount Sumeru. So in short, Acharya by describing all this, he wants to relate us that this is the opportunity that you have got. You should not miss it. O soul, without realizing your true self, you have dwelled in all the three worlds. It will not be realms, Darshitji, correct. It will be three worlds. Yes. Because in the next paragraph, they have written three worlds. In water, land, fire, air, mountains, rivers, trees, forest, and all such places, enduring endless suffering. You have repeatedly consumed all forms of matter, yet you were never satisfied. Why you were not satisfied? Because there is no happiness in the matter substance. So whatever you have consumed, supposing many times, but you will be never be satisfied in all those matter substances, sensual pleasures, etc., etc. Similarly, tormented by insatiable thirst. A thirst which cannot be satisfied is called insatiable thirst. You have drunk all the waters in the three worlds, yet your thirst remained unquenched. Therefore, reflect on all these truths and contemplate the three jewels, Ratnatraya, right belief, right knowledge, and right conduct that bring an end to this cycle of existence. Sometimes I always wonder that we are so fortunate to get into such kind of studies which it's which is going to end our cycle of existence. Such a big opportunity. So whatever we put in terms of effort, that is going to pay us multiple times. I cannot put a figure to it. It's such an invaluable thing because you are ending the cycle of death and birth, and all these possessions, money, it has got no value because we have got this infinite times earlier also, but we never got satisfaction from that. And now we are working on a theory, we are working on a philosophy which is going to teach us that how we can extract happiness within us, from within us. It's not in any of the outside world, not in any of the sensual pleasures, not any of the object satisfying the sensual pleasures, but it lies in our soul itself, and we have to extract from it. Okay. O steadfast one, you have been born countless times in the infinite ocean of existence, taking and abandoning innumerable bodies countless times. Among these, in the human state, you have endured immense suffering by meeting untimely deaths, sudden death, accidental death, such as through consumption of poisons, etc. So this is suicide. Okay. So such as through consumption of poison, etc. And in the animal state, you have experienced death through events such as avalanche, that is snowfall, etc. Sometimes it is flood, sometimes it is earthquake, all these kind of natural calamities, we have experienced death in those situations. In Nigod, you have experienced birth and death 66,336 times within a single Antarmurat. Now, this Antarmurat is of 48 minutes. So, within 48 minutes, we are taking birth and death, 66,336 times. O soul, in the absence of the three jewels of right belief, right knowledge, and right conduct, Ratnatraya, you have wandered in this sorrowful cycle of existence since time immemorial. Therefore, now strive to attain the three jewels in the form of right belief, right knowledge, and right conduct, so that your death is not without spiritual readiness. What is this spiritual readiness? We studied in Tattvat Sutra recently. What is this? Tell me, Jinali.
So you are spiritually ready so that in the next birth you still have
But
that.
what that death is called?
Samadhi Maran.
Yes, Samadhi Maran. We read in Tattvat Sutra, no? Peaceful
Yeah.
death, peaceful death, gradual peaceful death. Okay. So, so that your death is not without spiritual readiness, but rather a noble one, peaceful death, spiritually ready, okay, leaving your body before the body leaves you, enabling you to quickly achieve eternal bliss. Okay. So if you do such things, the end result is that you will achieve eternal bliss, everlasting bliss. Now, the spiritual leader, Acharya, describes the sufferings experienced after merely adopting the external form of asceticism without internal purity. Describes the suffering experienced after merely adopting the external form of asceticism. Now, this external form of asceticism is called Dravyaling. And if it is there with internal purity, then it is called Bhavling. Okay. So, which one is important? Bhavling is important. Dravyaling to we have been done many a times. Okay. But without the knowledge of the self, we have not been able to stop this cycle of birth and death, birth and death. Okay. We are still in the transmigratory phase. And if we want to come out of this, then the solution is right belief, right knowledge, and right conduct. And for that, you have to study, you have to contemplate, you have to arrive at a decision. That is what you can do intentionally.
Rajesh,
Mindfully.
sir, I wanted to ask you a question on this.
Yes.
When earlier you said that we have attained monkhood many times and still then being in the cycle of transmigration. Is the clarification this, that we have not been Paulingi, but we have been Dravyalingi?
Yes, yes.
We've really not been Paulingi monks before.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So all these are examples given to motivate you to put in the efforts. Okay. So there is no clear-cut calculations that how many times you have been Dravyalingi and how many times you have been this and that. But since soul is there since eternal, okay, so there is no beginning and we have been transmigrating, and since there is no beginning, we cannot have an ending over there, you know. You just keep on like if you ask an omniscience, they will tell you that how many births you have done earlier, you know. And like it's not, there is no beginning. So even Kevli will also say that there is no beginning, right? So we have been to all the places, all the five paravartan, Dravya, Chakra, Kal, Bhav, Bhav. All the 5 paravartans we have done infinite times. O revered monk, there is no place left in the 3 worlds. Again, you have to do the correction. 3 worlds where you have not taken birth and death, while merely adopting the external form of asceticism, again Dravyaling, without internal purity. Nor is there any matter that you have acquired and then abandoned. So, I think there is one word missing here. Nor is there any matter that you have not acquired and then abandoned. Okay. So it will be that you have not acquired. That means you have acquired and then abandoned all the matter substances in finite times. Okay. Yet you have not attained liberation. Instead, due to the absence of inner purity, bhawling, you have been tormented by birth, old age, and other sufferings for infinite time, continuing to endure misery. Okay. O illustrious one, what more can be said? In this human body, every single inch harbors 66 diseases. Now, just realize that what kind of auspicious karmas you are going through, that every inch has got 66 kind of diseases and still you are in good health. It's again a very surprising, that you have 66 diseases in every inch of your body, right? And still you are fit and fine, doing fine. So this is not an rise of auspicious karma. Then what can be said about the afflictions of the entire body? So every inch has 66 diseases. So if we cover up the whole body, how many afflictions would be there? There is no, it cannot be counted. In past lives, you have endured all these ailments, diseases helplessly, and you will continue to endure them in the future as well. If you are not breaking this cycle, then the future is going to be the same. O monk, you dwelled in the highly impure womb of your mother, where you consumed nourishment in the form of fluids derived from her digested food. Later, in your infancy, out of ignorance, you lay in unclean places, surrounded by impure objects, and consumed impure substances. Okay, because you were a baby then. You were not aware what is good for you and what is not good for you. So we have been all do this through all these phases. It is not something that we are undergoing for the first time. We have been to these phases of life infinite times. O monk, this body which you perceive as your home is entirely filled with impure substances such as flesh, bones, semen, blood, bile, intestines, semi-digested waste, immature excrement formed from blood, fat, and pus, impure blood. Being attached to this impure body, you have endured suffering for infinite time. Okay. Being attached to this impure body, you have endured suffering for infinite time. Explaining further, the spiritual teacher says, O wise one, just a minute, let me check with the Hindi version. So there are some footnotes which we have to refer to. Okay. Okay. So now it is going to come. Yes. Explaining further, the spiritual teacher says, "O wise one, merely renouncing external ties like family does not make one liberated." Okay. So renouncing external ties or external attachments like family does not make one liberated. True liberation is attained only by renouncing. So your writing appears to be very small. Can you enlarge it a bit, Darshit ji? Slightly, one, two. Yes. Yes. Very nice. Okay. O monk, this body which you perceive as your home is entirely filled with impure substances such as flesh, bones, semen, blood, bile, intestines, semi-digested waste, immature excrement formed from blood, fat and pus, impure blood. Being attached to this impure body, you have endured suffering for infinite times. Explaining further, the Acharya says, "O wise one, merely renouncing external ties like family does not make one liberated. True liberation is attained only by renouncing inner desires." Now, how do you get rid of these inner desires? It is cropping up every moment. One desire is fulfilled, another desire crops up. Another fulfilled, then the next one crops up. So there is never a moment of time where you are free of desires. Okay. And desires is the biggest cause of our suffering. So how do we get rid of these desires? Okay. So that is being explained here. The true liberation is attained only by renouncing inner desires and becoming free from all inner attachments. Now, how that could be done is a question mark, and everyone knows that answer, so I'm not asking, but this is what Acharya wants to convey here. Therefore, recognize this truth and abandon the cravings of the inner self. Abandon the cravings. Okay. Abandon the cravings of the inner self. Okay. So, abandoning the all kinds of desires. In the past, many monks renounced external possessions such as the body and other material attachment, adopting the form of a possessionless. However, they failed to abandon inner attachments, rag, like pride and similar internal attachments. As a result, they did not achieve liberation. Liberation was attained only when they abandoned pride. For example, now there are 4 examples coming up, and these are stories from Pratman Yoga. So 4 examples: Bahubali, Madhu Pingla, Vasishtha, 1, 2, 3, 3 or more are there. It's coming, and others, despite undergoing severe austerities, did not attain liberation because they did not rid themselves of internal desires. Like Bahubali had pride. So now the footnote is not there, right? So we can go to page number 21. It's mentioned over there at the last. So we will read those 3 stories and then come back here. So page number 21, first story is of Bahubali.
Footnote is given, Ji.
Given?
Yeah. In page
So-
12 it is given.
So Darshit ji is not. So this is one. Go
Sorry, is
further.
mine missing something? I don't know.
This is which page number? Just see at the top. So this is King Madhu Pingla, and then
Yeah, this is the footnote, G.
yeah, this is the footnote, right? Okay, so they must have combined it. Mine is in the page number 21. So you just go further below. Yes. 1 minute. Huh? Where we were. So we were here.
You have to move above, G.
Yes.
Only from the second story is coming, I think so. King Madhu Pingala.
Bahubali
Yeah,
is
that's
not
what it
there.
looks like.
Bahubali story is not there.
Yeah.
1 minute. Huh? Just
Actually,
hold on.
it is there. It is there because here it is from there.
Yes, yes.
Like, first line also.
This one.
Bahubali. So
Yeah, from
it
there.
starts from here. Bahubali did not accept to be a subordinate of his elder brother Bharat. So here the story starts of Bahubali. As a result, a battle ensued between them. Okay. The battle involved water combat, wrestling, jal, mal, drashti. So involved water combat, then wrestling and visual contest. Okay. Bahubali triumphed in all three. However, disillusioned with his brotherly conflict, Bahubali renounced the world and took the vow of possessionless initiation. He became a monk. In penance, he meditated for a year in a standing posture. Despite this, he did not attain liberation. It is said that in his mind, the impurity of pride remained. Once this impurity was removed, he gained omniscient knowledge. So, this is the story of Bahubali. Then the next story is of King Madhu Pingla. King Madhu Pingla and King Sagar both went to the Swayamvar, a ceremony where a princess chooses her husband. Of the princess Sulabha. At the event, King Sagar's minister deceitfully devised a false Samudrika Shastra, physiognomy scripture, okay, and declared that if the bride married a suitor with Pingla, copper colored eyes, it would bring death upon him. Hearing this and believing King Madhu Pingla's eyes to be of a copper hue, Princess Sulabh chose King Sagar as her husband. In this way, through numerous examples, 1 minute. Okay. So Princess Sulabh chose King Sagar as her husband. Disheartened by this incident, King Madhu Pingla renounced the world and took passionless initiation, undergoing rigorous penance. Later, when the deception of King Sagar's minister was exposed, Madhu Pingla desired that the fruit of his penance would be to destroy Sagar's lineage in his next birth. Upon his death, Madhu Pingla was reborn as the celestial being Mahakalasur. This clearly shows that due to merely the disposition of desire for vengeance in Madhu Pingla Muni, he could not attain liberation. Okay. So both the cases, Bahubali and Madhu Pingla, depicts that even a small kind of passion is going to stop you from attaining liberation. we need to renounce all kinds of passions and alien disposition. Now the third story of Vasishtha. Once a sage named Vasishtha was performing penance involving 5 fires. At that time, 2 munis who travel through the sky. Okay, so these monks have special qualities in them that they can travel through the sky. It's called sky-clad monk. Okay, who travel through the sky, named Gunabhadra and Veerbhadra, conveyed to him that the penance he was performing involved violence because you are lighting up the fires. Upon realizing the apparent violence in his practice, he abandoned it and took possessionless initiation from the monks. See, those were the times. With a little bit of incident, people used to renounce everything and become a monk. Seeing a white hair, he will become a monk. Seeing a lightning, they will become a monk. Okay, so they just used to wait for the right kind of instrumental calls coming up, and immediately they would initiate into a monkhood. So, committing himself to austerities for life. Subsequently, he arrived in Mathura and undertook a series of fasts, each lasting for a month. The local king Ugrasen, out of devotion, decided to personally offer fast-breaking food to the monk. The king announced throughout the city that no one else should provide food to the monk. On the day of breaking his fast, when the monk arrived in the city, he encountered a disturbance caused by fire. Recognizing it as an obstruction, upsarg, he returned to continue another month of fasting. When he returned on the next fast-breaking day, he faced agitation from an elephant. Again, realizing it as an obstruction, he returned for another month-long fast. After fasting for another month, he returned on the next fast-breaking day. However, this time the king was distressed due to a letter from Jara Singh, which preoccupied his mind, and he neglected to offer food to the monk. Once again, considering it as an obstruction, he returned to the forest. On his way, he heard the town's people gossip that the king was not offering to feed the monk and had also forbidden others from doing so. Muni Vasishtha became angry. In his wrath, he wished them, as a result of his penance, he would be reborn as the king's son, overthrow the king and rule the kingdom. Therefore, this rage-led vow caused the austerity to be rendered futile and liberation was not attained. Okay. Now we have two, three examples more. Just a minute. Let me see where we are. Therefore, these supernatural powers. Okay. So, these supernatural powers became the cause of destruction of both oneself and others. For example, ascetic Bahubali, for ascetics Bahu, not Bahubali, that is done. Ascetics Bahu and Dipayan. So everyone knows about Dwarka Nagri that was burned because of Dipayan Muni's anger. So that story is coming up. Without purity of disposition, 1 minute. I am missing this story. Bahubali, Madhu Pingla, then Vasishtha we have. Okay, now the next one is Bahu. Okay, without purity of disposition, the knowledge of the 11 Anga is useless. However, if one lacks knowledge of the scriptures but has purity of disposition, then through the experience of the self-liberation, then through the experience of the self, liberation is attained. For example, Shiv Bhuti Muni. So we have three examples coming up. One about monk Bahu, the next about monk Dipayan, and the third about monk Shiv Bhuti. Okay. Now we need to read the stories, but where it is, just see where the other three stories you have.
The index of the same page.
Index.
End of the same page.
Bahu in the city of Kumbh Karatak. Yes, yeah. Yes, this is the three stories coming up. So our time is also over. So what we can do is we can continue with these stories tomorrow. Okay. Bahu, from Bahu. So just mark it somewhere. I'm also marking it. If you have any questions on today's session.
Sorry, sir. Is it from here, from the above examples? That's where we finished. Should I mark it from there?
Yeah, you mark it here, and three examples are still remaining that we will cover up tomorrow and then get back to the. In Hindi, you know, all the 6 stories are mentioned in the footnote one by one. Okay. So we have to finish the stories first and then we come back to the original text. Yes. So that will be the case. I have already mentioned here stories mentioned in the footnote. So my footnote is at the end of that, but now again they have done the correction. So they have done, they have bring in the stories in between. Okay. Yes. So here we will be doing tomorrow. We'll continue with this. Okay. Any questions? Now this chart that Darshit ji shared, you know, if you access it through email, you will be able to see the whole one. Or you got it done, Darshit ji?
Yeah, Rajesh, I've sent it to you actually. The corrected version. If you could just look at it before we share it, in case there are any mistakes. I think it should be correct, but just in case.
So I checked with the email one, and there it was correct. Only one Adan Nikshepan Samiti that you find out.
I've changed it. Yeah, I've also changed the chart slightly to make it a bit more colorful, so it's easier
Okay,
to
so
follow
let me
the.
check it up, and I will inform you so you can share it in the group. Okay.
Sure.
Okay, so today is the last day. So who is there? 3 people are still pending. Aditi, and Priyanka. So nobody is there in the class today. Okay.
Rajesh, sorry. Aditi Jane actually she messaged me. She
Uh,
said that her phone had crashed and then she lost
oh,
all the book, and so she's asked me for all the books again for
okay.
Tatvat Sutra. I've sent it to her today. So
Oh,
there could be an issue there for you to sort with her.
okay, fine. So
Okay.
the number is the same, right?
No, she's actually, I don't know. I didn't have a number, but she's messaged me from a phone which I didn't have the number, but she did tell me it's Aditi Jane.
Okay,
Yeah.
maybe. Okay, we'll sort it out, no problem. Okay, anything else? Okay, so we are good to go. निज निधि निज में बताई यह अनंत उपकार है उसके लिए जिन वाणी माँ को वंदना सत बार है उसके लिए जिन वाणी माँ को वंदना सत बार है 9 times नमोकार मंत्र बोलो दात सांगी जिनवाणी माता की जय।